He needed to patch together whatever resistance he could. His soldiers were not as experienced. They were the young and old of Lynchburg, teenage boys, and silver-haired men. They did have one veteran, however, who'd seen battle fighting Napoleon at Waterloo 50 years before. On their way to help reinforce Lynchburg was the Cadet Corps.
Successes of the last 12 years. During that time, the police
themselves at the Battle of Newmarket, where their heroic charge had turned defeat into victory. Gradually, a defense of Lynchburg is being assembled. Another source of soldiers was found in the Lynchburg hospitals. Thousands of sick and wounded soldiers filled downtown warehouses. An order was issued, and soon, several thousand convalescents were collected and armed. Armed with squirrel rifles and shotguns, Nichols' Home Guard hiked to defensive positions at the edge of the city. As they wait for two armies of nearly 30,000 men, Lynchburg prepares for the worst.
Nearly every able-bodied man was under arms or busy making trenches. Every man and boy who can shoulder a musket is now in the ranks prepared to defend that sacred spot called home. Charles W. Button, for Lynchburg, Virginia.
Though the Confederate forces are getting stronger, Lynchburg desperately needs Jubal Early and his veterans. The first ray of hope was the arrival of a small Confederate force led by Kentuckian John C. Breckinridge.
General Breckinridge with some troops got here on Wednesday night. It was a most reassuring sight as they moved out to a line on the hills west of the city. Susan Blackford.
Though Breckinridge's men inspired confidence, they were still hopelessly outnumbered. A brigade of cavalry, 1,500 troopers under General John Imboden, arrives at Lynchburg. The tired men ride out in front of Lynchburg's defense line. They stop at a country home a few miles west of the city and catch their breath. The house sits on a ridgeline. It has an excellent view of the surrounding countryside. They deploy along the ridge and wait for the enemy. As Early's men march through Trevilian Station, they see the debris of a recent battle. Just 2 days before, Lee's cavalry wing, under the command of South Carolinian Wade Hampton, clashed with Sheridan's cavalry. After one of the bloodiest cavalry battles of the war, the Northern troopers were defeated. Nichols and his small band would not have to face Sheridan's veteran army. On June 16th, Early and his men reach Keswick, a small stop on the Orange and Alexandria Railroad.
The 2nd Corps arrived near Charlottesville, having marched over 80 miles in 4 days. The trains were not in readiness to take the troops on board until sunrise on the morning of the 17th. Jubal Anderson Early.
Early orders every available train to converge on Keswick.
June 17th. We were awakened at sunrise by a brass band. I marched down to the railroad to get my train. We could not get on the same train as our brigade and had to pile on with Gordon's brigade. George Payton, 13th Virginia Infantry.